Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Fight Court. I'm Dean Thomas, joined alongside with my man Ryan Quinn, fresh off of another successful UFC fight night, making their debut in Qatar, Doha, Qatar. Arman Tsarukyan victorious over Dan Hooker. But I think the biggest story of that entire event was what happened backstage. Garry and Khamzat Chimaev had sort of a little, I don't want to say fisticuffs, brouhaha. I don't want to over exaggerate, but they got into a little scuffle and had some words. Ryan, did you happen to see this?
Scuffle's the word. Scuffle's the word. First of all, I'm happy to be back. It's been a little while.
Yeah, man. You've been gone for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, before we even get into the nonsense, you okay, man? What's going on?
Everything's good. Yeah, everything's good. 1 week was a vacation with the family, then the next week something else. The other side of the everything's good though.
All right.
I did see it. Yeah. I mean, I think that Garry leaned in and was like, Dean Thomas was right about you, you fucking chandelier. Oh, man.
See, man, don't even get started. See, that's how rumors get started. All I've said and all I'm saying is that he's not the type of champion that's going to be fighting a lot, right? That's
what are we looking at least another 6 months before? No, probably more. We're probably looking at July because he gets cleared to fight in April. So, yeah.
So he won the title in August. He tricked us. He flirted with the idea of coming back in October.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. Kind of disappeared for a while. We didn't see him for a while. The first we've seen of him in a long time is in the corner of Arman Tsarukyan in Qatar. And even prior to that, we got news that he won't be fighting again until at least April because of his foot. He's getting surgery on his foot. So for whatever the reason being, so like everybody, is going to come down on me. Oh, he's hating on this guy. He's, he has reasons, but everybody has reasons and other people have reasons to still fight. So when he first came out the gate, he was fighting all the time.
Yep.
But now that he's champ, and even prior to that, when he was really good, the frequency stopped. And there's reason. Of course, there's reasons. No one's just going to. Of course, there's reasons, but you can still control that if you really, really, really wanted to fight.
Yeah. Yep. I do wonder, like, we've seen injury-prone people before, but we've seen them like switch up their nutrition or whatever the case. Like even for crazy shit, like strengthening their bones and whatnot. Like I know that sounds nuts, but we've seen it. We've seen it. And there's certain things he could do, certain areas he could avoid where he's getting hurt. Like what does he do in training that he gets hurt so much? That's like he I don't know. Maybe he's just so used to being the hammer that when like things get crazy, he doesn't defend properly, and I don't know.
I don't even think it's that, Ryan. I really just believe that, a fight is so important to people. It's just so important for a fighter. Like, because like your life really will boil down in that moment to that moment. It really boils down to if you're not a main event or fighting for a title, it's 15 minutes. If it is a title, it's 25 minutes. And your life up until that moment boils down to that. And I think that people they understand that and they do so much to try to make that moment count as much as they can that they're a little negligent as to how they're preparing for it.
Yep.
That's part of the reason or just other circumstances. And I get it. I understand that. But you have to do a better job of really putting that moment into reality and understanding that it's important, but at the end of the day, it's still only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Do I have to do this? I'm banged up. Do I have to do this other round? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or what could I have done to prevent being banged up? Mm-hmm. So it's all about balancing the emotional, psychological, and physical part of it so that we're not overcompensating for the physical part so that we're getting hurt.
Yep. All right. So we'll get back to the question. I did see it. I don't know exactly what was said. It looked like that they were cool for a minute, and then he leaned in. I could totally see Garry being like saying something just to bust some balls and be like, "Oh wait, I could totally see that." I don't know. Have you ever had conversations with Khamzat? Is he Is he like a
Man,
knockaround
I've been in a
guy?
room. I've been in a room with him a few times, and he was just cordial, you know.
Yeah.
But Ryan, you know as much as I do, man. These guys just have alpha energy.
Yeah.
It's just alpha energy. Ian
Mhm.
Gary comes in a room and he's loud, he's confident, he's an extreme extrovert. He
Fresh
like
off a fight too, so his
yeah,
adrenaline is
for sure, man. So
through the
he's coming
roof.
in. He feels like he's the number one contender. He feels like he's the best fighter in the world. I
Yeah.
don't think he meant any disrespect towards
Hmm.
Hamzat. He was congratulating Tsarukyan as one winner to the next, and Hamzat's there. He's looking at him as contemporaries. We're equals. You're a champion. I'm going to be a champion. I'm going to look at you in the eye. I'm going to give you a firm handshake. I'm going to pat you on the back firmly. And Hamzat probably saw that as initially is cool, but then maybe Ian Gary might have looked at him and it looked like he was just looked at him at one point and just said like, "What's up?" And then
Yeah.
Hamzat saw that as, "Oh,
Uh,
this we got beef now."
Yeah, yeah, you're drawing your line in the sand. Yep, I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all it was. Was there anything after that from anybody? I think that was really just it, just the shove, and I mean, they don't have any past issues from what I understand, or anything with teammates or anything like that, right?
No, it's just, I mean, you know how it is, man. It's a conflict of interest when you're dealing with two alpha guys that have
Yeah,
different ways of expressing themselves. Because
yeah,
Hamzat's quiet.
hmm,
Like he's more like he can be loud, but like in rooms like that, when the cameras are off, he's kind of quiet.
yeah,
And when you come in all loud and brash, that's kind of almost fighting words to a quiet assassin.
yes,
And I don't think Ian Gary meant it any other way. He don't know any other way, and I don't think he was pretending because I've been around Ian. He doesn't pretend like that. Like cameras or not, he comes in a room looking up, looking who he can say hi to, looking who he can shake hands with, looking who he can talk to. He's very open like that.
correct.
So, yeah, I think it was, and a lot of people, I'm seeing people, oh, Ian Gary was trying to put on a show, da 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 da, and I was like, man, to me, it's just a conflict of interest that happens around alpha guys that have different ways of expressing themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that because yeah, conflict of interest, when and the energy after you're coming off a win plus the energy of when you're in cornerman mode is just night and day. And I think that that's just not going to be connective energy. Um, yeah, it was a nothing burger at the end of the day. It was just, I don't think that either of them are going to look into it going
It
forward.
was all it was at the end of the day is fuel for Monday morning talk.
Yes, yeah. There, bingo. And we got it first.
Bingo! We
Yeah,
got caught
boom.
up in it. We got
Yeah.
caught up in it. but
Uh,
I mean, honestly, especially in places like that, like it happens a lot. Like when
mhm.
two guys,
Yeah.
it happens a lot. Like you
It
see it
really
all the
does.
time. We're just like two guys from opposing camps just tend to be like,
Damn smartphones.
you're not my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
your energy doesn't vibe with my energy. No other reason, but your energy doesn't vibe with my energy. But the crazy thing about that is like, but if they were to fight, when the fight's over, it's normally like, yo, come train with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's always every time. What is the dumbest? Because now you got me thinking. What is the dumbest backstage clash that you've seen that was something similar to that? Like just over something so stupid. Because I've seen stuff, matter of a fighter trying to clean up his area of the locker room, and he moved the bag over that was somebody else's bag. Go, what the fuck? That's my bag, man. What the? And then the coaches got into it. Like this shit happens. What's something dumb that you've seen?
um, Honestly, I just thought it was cool when it happened, but when you think about probably why it happened, it was pretty silly, but it got escalated. And the reason why I'm bringing
Yeah.
this up, because it got escalated probably to a point where it should. Remember when Bobby Green and Arman Tsarukyan's camp got into it?
Yes. Yeah.
For no reason, like they weren't even fight, like for no reason, right? Like they kind of got into it, like just for no reason, but it got so escalated for no reason. Just like two guys, just alpha, just not willing to take what they perceive as disrespect.
Dude, that just reminded me of just in high school being at keggers and like people getting drunk and then you see two guys, like I grew up in a privileged area. So like these two guys, they start throwing hands and you could see at the same time they both realize they really don't want to fight. And immediately just go from Well, cool, right? Like,
Yeah, like they don't want to fight, but they feel like they have to because
yeah,
they feel like they're being disrespected around other people, and they can't
yeah,
let that be the story.
yeah.
You know, my man Kurt from Philly, shout out to Kurt and them. He talks about, how many people have like gotten in trouble and done a lot of dumb stuff just on the idea that they were being disrespected.
It's probably the story, probably the initial step, 9/10 of the time.
Just just feeling like you got disrespected, just like somebody said something to you, probably wasn't that bad, but you had to do something about it because you're not going to disrespect me like that, cuz you're not going to disrespect me. And it's like, it's probably easier to just ignore it.
Dude, I had a situation at work the other day where a VP from another department was giving me shit and he was kind of getting loud in front of other people about stuff that really wasn't that big of a deal. I knew that everyone around me knew that it wasn't that big of a deal. And I knew that I was never going to be in that situation again, that I had to learn from this. So he's going on. I'm like, all right. He wanted me to reprimand someone that I manage. And I was like, all right, I got it. Yeah. And then my VP comes over and starts clashing with him. I'm like, hey, listen, this is not the battle to win. Like this is not the battle to take. And I just hope that people learn just to take a deep breath, especially in this game fighting. Like, just take a deep breath. Like, there's nothing to learn from this. It's not going to service your future. Like, just
Yeah, a
don't be stupid.
deep breath is so helpful.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like, yo, just take a deep breath, or even like I think like when you're really at one with yourself. I guess I
Mhm.
mean, especially when you get a little older, like when you're just like,
Yeah.
but like when you become confident and at one with yourself, like you don't even need a deep breath half the time. Like it really just like a lot of things really just go over your head.
Dude. Well, you're in a better place than I am. But I'm at least at the place now where I realize my initial thought is probably not the right one. And then I take that deep breath and I'm like, yeah, I just don't have the energy to get into this shit. Like I just got other shit going on. And then that's when I move on.
Yeah, like I'm in a, but I still juggle with the idea because I'm not different. Trust me, I'm not judging those guys who react to disrespect
Mhm.
because it's still in the back of my mind. Like I
Yeah, well,
still
there's
think
real
about like I
disrespect
said,
out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
still
not.
I still be like, yo, chill. And it's not even a deep breath. Like it depends on the day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But for sure, like it still lingers back there. But for the most part, I know I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle it. Like when I feel a little, a lot of things I just let go over my head. Just recently, like somebody in traffic, and it's like the worst for me when people are disrespectful on the road.
Me
Like
too. I hate it too.
honking the horn and just being like just overly aggressive and disrespectful on the road. Like that really kind of gets to me. But like nowadays, man, I just be like, honk on you what? I don't even care.
I'll never forget one time this guy was beeping. He felt I cut him off. Maybe I did. Anyway, I apologize. And then he comes up next. He's like, F you, F you. He's beeping. I'm like, yo. And I look at this dude and he's like 135 pounds. I'm like, dude, this guy does not want to get out of the car with me. So I'm like, I just let him do his yelling. And then I just made my turn when I got to the next light and it was over.
But that's the thing too, man, is that like most people don't really want to get out of the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people won't get out of the car.
Hmm.
And I remember Tyron Woodley telling me a story about like some lady, and Tyron is a really bad driver. Like he can drive, but he's like always texting and he's like swerving because he's texting. So I know he was probably at fault here, right? So he's probably at fault. And he said like a lady was like beeping and honking and flicking him off. So Tyron had time that day. So he says he followed her. And like she got real, like he said he followed her for a while and she got real nervous. And then finally, I think he like caught up to her after like a couple of miles, like just like on some obscure road. She's trying to get away from him, but he's following her. And he was just like, see, you got to be careful out. Like he obviously wasn't going to do nothing, but he just told her,
Yeah.
look, be careful. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be like this to people. Just
Yeah.
relax,
Yeah.
let it go. Because like in a different circumstance, it could have gotten ugly.
Dude, I've heard of like, well, I mean, it's been a while, but like gang initiations, like if you get somebody to react to you on the road, like that's the person you go after. So like
Yeah,
I don't mess with that. But you brought up Tyron, so let's sidetrack a minute. I see he's got a boxing match with Anderson Silva now.
he does.
Yeah. Well, on that Jake Paul card.
Really?
That couldn't. I'm positive that wasn't a rumor. Let me see.
I mean, it's probably true. Like I don't read a lot as much as I used to avoid a lot of nonsense. But it's probably. I mean, I spoke to him. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he did say he was working on some things about fighting. So it's pot. So if you say it's true,
Yeah, when that's gonna be? Yeah, it's coming up. It's
yeah.
coming up.
So if
Mhm.
you say that's true, I'm gonna believe it because
Yeah.
he did say he had some stuff coming up. I know he said he was working on a movie, but he said that he was working on some fight stuff. So like if that's true, good for him.
Yeah, he's got a movie. Along Came the Spider. That's the movie right now. But yeah, all right. Don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, don't be disrespectful.
It ain't worth it.
So all right, back to the fights. Arman Tsarukyan
Mhm.
um beating Dan Hooker. I mean, I saw that coming.
Yeah, that fight went like it was gonna go.
Yeah.
I didn't, I Dan Hooker and Cyril Gahn are like the two. They're like the stand-ins for when somebody needs an exciting like name fight. Like that's what it seems like they are with their careers right now. Like Daniel Hooker is. I remember for a while. I mean, still he's the one that when you're breaking into the top 15. I'm actually even surprised he got the Sarukian fight. When they're breaking into the top 15, everyone's trying to gun for Daniel Hooker. And I saw it going that way. He has not been the same since he fought DP. What was that, 4 or 5 years ago? And yeah, I wasn't surprised. I don't I think it was a push for Sarukian because I saw it going that way. Uh
Well, I mean, you can kind of see it in their demeanor, the way they do interviews, the way they carry themselves. Like Sarukian's a guy who is like actively on track to fight for a title. Not just
yeah,
hoping or just saying, yeah, I want a title shot. Not just hoping, but he's like on track for it. He's like doing the things that it needs to be done to do that. And you can see it. To me, Dan Hooker at this point, he fights like a guy who's injured that doesn't
mm,
care.
yeah,
Like, yo, I'll fight anybody in the world. And can he like with the mentality of like it don't matter if I lose, but I'm gonna put on a good show. And he's dangerous enough to put on a good show.
for sure.
But he doesn't fight like a guy who's on track, like a consummate professional on track to win a title.
The focus isn't there. Yeah,
No.
that's how I see it too. He it excites him. He'd rather be doing this than something else, and that's it. Like almost like how Keith Jardine was back in the day. It seems like just well, I mean Keith was a little more focused, um but yeah, I agree with you. He's just he's there, he's having fun. I mean, power to him, but I don't see him as somebody who's pursuing a title anytime soon.
Nah, and he can say that, like everybody says that,
Yeah.
but you can't convince me of that when your actions don't display that.
Hmm.
So he couldn't. So he might say, yeah, if I win this fight, I get a title. Yeah, for sure. Like if you win that fight, you should be in conversation for a title. But you're not. But you're not really treating yourself in terms of the way you're carrying yourself like a man who's wants to win a
Yeah.
title.
For those of you who want a little context what we're saying about like when I see a Daniel Hooker fight, I see it's the same Daniel Hooker with the same quote unquote game plan every fight, no matter who he's fighting. Same way he fought Dustin Poirier, he tried to fight Arman Tsarukyan. I don't see any shift or pivot in strategy. And that's what leads me to believe he's just there to just doing his thing. What do you think about that?
Well, so I mean, because he always and he uses this. It's a fist fight. It's not a grappling match. It's a fist fight. We get
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
But we understand that, but it's still, I just think that people are just still so far behind in terms of their mentality, like especially like that generation of fighting, because he considers himself, and he's a well-rounded fighter.
Yeah.
So when he sees a guy like Sarukian, he might still consider Sarukian as just a grappler, not really understand like Sarukian is a calculated assassin. Like this
Yep.
guy is pretty good everywhere. But he might just look at Sarukian as just a grappler. So he might have thought, oh, he's just gonna grapple me, and he did. But he
Hmm.
also ground and pounded you, and he also like kept
Yeah.
you on your toes, on your feet, and he also like he did a lot of things that was well thought out and well calculated. And I just think that the Dan Hooker just sees it like, oh, it's a fist fight. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna punch on you, and you're not gonna be able to grapple me. And man, it don't work that way no more. It certainly doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
It
No.
certainly don't work that way.
No.
But yeah, so I think for Dan Hooker, I mean, he's still got a lot of fights left in him that are going to be exciting. There's still going to be some some good scraps left for him. I mean, maybe we see him in BSD next. I think
Yeah,
that would be a great fight. Two guys that
absolutely.
have very similar styles. And then as for Sarukian, how do you not give him a title shot?
Yeah, it's time. It's
Yeah.
time. He's he's done his time in purgatory from the last back
Yeah,
injury, weight
yeah,
miss,
yeah.
whatever that was, and yeah, he gets it. He gets it next
It's
for sure.
crazy though because I mean, but who do you put him in there? I mean, you could probably put him in there right away with Ilya.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless you want to get him with Paddy Pimblett, but I feel like they'd rather hold Paddy off and let Ilya and Sarukian figure that out, and maybe give Paddy a push fight. Maybe give Paddy Daniel Hooker. Like, just
See,
like
but that's the problem with like these guys that are so good that they are able to transcend weight classes. Like
mm,
Ilya's like, yo, I'm gonna go. If Ilya says, yeah, I'm gonna go up to welterweight, how do you not do Ilya in Islam? Like that's a fight, regardless. Like that might be the biggest
mm,
fight that the UFC could make right now. So, like, if he was willing to do that, how do you not do that? With the exception of John Jones against somebody.
yeah.
If Ilya was like, yo, I want to move up to welterweight and fight Islam, how do you not do that?
I guess you have to. It doesn't. Yeah, I guess you have to. That's so weird. Ilya is. I mean, I don't know, 170 might be pretty big for him, but you still do it regardless. All right, so then we're taking him out of the equation and we're going to put Arman versus Paddy Pimblett for at least an interim.
I don't know. I don't know how the UFC handles this. So I think that's the biggest fight that you could make in the UFC,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure that the UFC would be willing to do that, to really kind of muddle up them divisions like that. Because then because then you'd have Paddy Pimblett and Arman Tsarukyan fighting for a lightweight title that wouldn't sell as good as having Ilya in that spot. So you almost kind of, even though that's the biggest fight to make, you almost can't separate them.
Well,
You can't separate Islam and Ilya. I mean you have to separate them because if you
what's
separate,
what's a big non-title fight that everyone's looking at right now, or a potential matchup? Because you could put the co-main event, that fight, like you could sell the card with that. You don't have to sell the fight. Um, Shit, everyone we like is getting title shots. You gotta if you have a money co-main event, you could push that fight, I think.
yeah, it's just I mean when you do Ilya and Islam, that's the biggest fight you can make. But then if you do Islam and anybody else, it's not as big. And if you do Ilya and somebody else, it's not as big.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is it like
Mhm.
it just is not as big. But then if you do Ilya and Islam for the welterweight strap, that leaves the lightweight in a situation where it's like maybe you could put Justin Gaethje and Patty in there, or Justin Gaethje and Arman
Yeah.
for the title. That
Justin
might
Gaethje and
work.
Armin would be a fun fight to watch.
Justin Gaethje and Arman for the title.
Yeah, that would
So
be a fun fight to
that would
watch.
probably work. But like Justin Gaethje and Patty, like you would look at that and be like,
I
it's
don't care about
cool,
that
but yeah,
fight.
it's
I'd be happy
not as
for Justin
exciting.
Gaethje, but
Yeah,
I don't care about that fight. I'd rather see Armin and Justin.
yeah. I think that kind of makes sense. So, all right, so I think I just figured this out, Ryan.
Very good.
You move Ilya up to fight Islam sometime, and then you make Justin Gaethje and Arman fight for the lightweight title.
You're going to be in the meeting on Tuesday, right? The matchmaker meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in. If that happens, I'm gonna go missing. I'm gonna be fish food for a while. For
They used to have the sweepstakes for that. I got to see if they do that again. That was fun. I put together some serious fights.
Hmm.
I didn't win though, obviously.
Um, one fighter I want to talk about on the card too, and this is probably important because I've always spoke highly of this man. I think he's the best fighter overall. Oh, in terms of all the boxes of being a good fighter,
Huh.
he's the best fighter I've ever seen. Kyoji Horiguchi.
Yep. Thank you. I'm so happy we're
Yeah.
touching. First of all, I'm so happy for him. He's been out of the UFC for 9 years. 9 years. He won the
Hmm.
Bellator belt, the Risen, and he had a couple losses, but he still looks like Kyoji. He still
Yeah,
looks good. He's a great guy, as you know. He's extremely disciplined, and he really does check off all the boxes.
all the boxes.
I remember I was training with him, and I'm like, what is this guy, 135 pounds? And we were wrestling, and he double legged and turned the corner on me. And I know he's not a traditional wrestler. And I'm like, for him to pick that up, or even be willing to do that against somebody like me with a wrestling background that's like twice his size, this dude is very confident in his work. Um, I did worry a little bit about his age, but it doesn't look to be affecting him. And he takes care of himself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost unfair of me to even say that, to suggest that, because
Hmm.
this dude takes care of himself. I've seen it. Um, yeah, I'm happy for him. I love the way he handled the call out. Um, I think that's the fight to make. They need 125ers. They need a story behind the 125-pound belt after Van gets the fight, Joshua Van. Um, yeah, but I was happy for him.
Yeah. So, and I want to clarify what I mean by checking all the boxes because I've
Yeah.
seen, there are fighters that are super skilled, but they lack a little discipline, or they're super disciplined. They lack a little skill, or,
Hmm.
they're really athletic and fast, but they may not be the most skilled. Like in terms of checking all the boxes, like Kyoji marks high on everything,
Yeah.
everything. His work ethic, his was always high, top notch, always prepared, always had his stuff, always in a room, never taking a round off. His discipline always showed up. I mean, he lived in the dorms for years, even when he was making money.
Yep.
Discipline always high. Fastest one, he's got the fastest first step I've ever seen. Like in
Hmm.
terms of like bouncing back and forth and just darting forward. I mean, it's up there with like Michael Venom Page and these guys, right?
Yeah.
So like he's got the fastest first step, his speed, his power, his right hand, like
Hmm.
his right
Level
hand.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Strength.
like he's so good everywhere. Like he checks
Hmm.
all the. I was telling my man John Marcus, I said, man, he's a coach's dream
Hmm.
to work with. He's a coach's dream to work with. So good to see him back in the UFC. Good to see him speaking English.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the call out was pretty brilliant too. Like to say he was like, and he's got a whole. It's gonna be weird on Monday, but he was like, he's my teammate, but I'll kick his ass.
I try to get Kyoji on here. He still doesn't. He's still worried that he can hold a full conversation in English. But
Mm,
I'm gonna keep pecking at him. I'm gonna keep
mm.
pecking at him. But no, that was perfect because it was so genuine, that call out. It was like, yeah, I know you're all gonna say it's my teammate, but I'm coming. You could tell that this conversation's been had for years. So
Mhm.
it's whatever. They'll figure it out. And
Yeah, I'm sure.
mhm.
It's and top team has dealt with it so much now that you can almost even laugh it off.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not as you don't look at that as, as before it was like when it was like the first time it was like really personal. He can almost show up on Monday and just kind of laugh it off and just be like,
Yep.
yo, back to work until it's a real thing. But yeah, Kyoji looked good, man. I think it's gonna be hard to beat him. Like his
Yeah.
speed and his skill set and his discipline in terms of not even just discipline in life, but in terms of discipline, in terms of staying with the game plan of which he's worked on. Like
Mhm.
he's gonna be tough to beat, man. I think he beats Joshua Van. Um, I personally believe that he could beat Pantoja. I think he might have a problem with, and he's already beaten him. Like
Mhm.
with Manel Cop, but he's already
Yeah.
beaten Manel Cop, and he's the only guy I thought that might be able to give him a problem.
I think that with somebody like Kyoji, you gotta keep it so basic to just take his weapons away the best way you can. You're not gonna outdo, like, just 1-2 down the middle as he's coming in on that instep. Watch that first step, like you said. 1-2, create an angle, 1-2, and just do that for 25 minutes. If you do anything more, you're getting greedy and he's gonna beat you at it.
Yeah.
I could see I like him against Pantoja, but I could see a world where Pantoja wins as well. It's but Pantoja's, it might be a testament it might be a test of Pantoja's patience when they fight. He's clearly getting better every time he goes into the cage. But to stay disciplined against somebody like that who offers so much risk, it's really tough to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to that. I'm happy for Kyoji.
So, Kyoji, shout out to Kyoji, doing things.
Mhm.
Glad to see you back in the UFC. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I really appreciate what Waldo Acosta Cortes did. Um, do I see him winning the title in the next year or so? No, but ranked opponent, hopped on the plane, hopped on the scale, took the fight, knocked him out. And he looks so loose in there. And I think fighters and especially the UFC heavyweight division needs that. And I think that it was just such a breath of fresh air to see something like that. Like all the heavyweight stuff is being talked about, like two fighters. And now we have somebody that's coming up. Like I said, he's probably not going to challenge either of those fighters anytime soon. But I appreciated it, and he deserves to move up in the rankings a little bit more given the situation, I think.
What do you think his ceiling is?
I don't see him. I think that Tom Aspinall's too young to like. I mean, he could drop bombs. The dudes clearly could drop bombs. Does he have a football background or anything? He kind of looks like
baseball.
Baseball. Okay, so that's why he's dropping bombs.
Yeah, I think he. I want to say he was a pitcher. I mean,
there you go.
He's Dominican. He's got a he played he played in major leagues.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was like he played. So I don't know for how long or what level in the majors, but I know he was a professional baseball player.
Fun little fact about Dominican baseball players. So Dominican Republic's an island. They were worried about Dominican baseball players when they implemented analytics into baseball because Dominicans are such traditionally aggressive hitters because they have a saying over there, you can't walk off the island, walk to get to first base. Yeah. So they would make them hit, but now it's a little bit more of a patient game, but they adjusted like everybody else. But no, then he's an athlete but what's his ceiling? Oh, I didn't think of that. I think you're going to see him in the contendership conversation, but I just don't see him winning a belt right now in this day and age. What about you?
Well, I like him. I've become a fan of his since what he did with the eye poke, and for him to come out, because he might be my breakout fighter of the year from just having such a good year. And I love when fighters can have a good year and ride the momentum of that good year. Because prior to this, it was like, decision here, decision there, and he just never really kind of popped off. But now he's having that year, so I love what he's doing. But the only thing that I will say about him, so I will say I love what he's doing, but the most important thing that I will say about him, he's Dominican and he's black. I know how Dominicans don't like to be black. Dominican, I'm not black, Poppy. I know black, Poppy. Yeah, you're black. They always try to claim they're not black. You black. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's funny. But that's all I got. Anything else?
No, that's it, man. Happy Thanksgiving coming up.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Dean.
Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. Just
mine too.
Around, do nothing and eat. Like, what better activity in life? You can't top that.
That's the life.
That's the life. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, hit like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. And we will be back next week. And on that note, Discord is adjourned.